Have you ever wanted to cause mass ecological devastation by turning on the toaster oven? Create marvels of engineering that only you can comprehend? Enter into a high-stakes arms race against terrorist alien bugs that lasts the whole game? And best of all, get mauled horribly by said bugs because you involuntarily stopped for a single second? Oh boy. You have some stuff to work on. But for now, all of this is possible in Factorio. In Factorio, your main goal can diverge into two directions. Option 1. You craft science packs, burn them inside research labs, progress through the tech tree, build the rocket silo, and get the fuck off this planet. You might experience interruptions from the worshipping cult of Greta Thunberg, environmentalism, aka the natives of this planet, the biters. These guys hate pollution, and they evolve from it. That's why option 2 exists. You develop into a techno-militaristic ethno-state with a strict kill-all-biters policy, and possibly even get sponsored by Lockheed Martin. With that said, can I launch a rocket into outer space? Or will the biters inhale enough artificially enriched fresh air to evolve and kill me? There is only one way to find out. After channeling the spirit of Joseph Joestar and plowing the ship into Nauvis, our Factorio adventure begins the same as any other playthrough. Mining rocks, crafting furnaces, mining iron,
Fuck, you digging in me, you digging in me.
Smelting the iron, creating the self-sucking and inserting Ouroboros coal mine setup, mining copper, and smelting the copper as well. Upgrading that to a smelter array, all the boring shit. We use the iron plates to handcraft some boilers and steam engines. We use that to power the inserters. We insert the iron into the assemblers to make gears. Then we take the copper and insert it with the iron gears into an assembler, and we got automation science. There are 7 science packs in Factorio. Starting at automation science and ending with space science. In between is mouthwash, coke, Fortnite mini shields, Waihi Urple, piss jar, and the My Little Pony jar incident. Or I guess you could just call them the respective colors. We'll need increasingly harder and more psychologically demanding and damaging items to craft them as we progress through the tech tree. So if you want a rough estimate on when your hairline will start receding, it's somewhere around setting up advanced oil processing. Don't worry about that yet, you still have a full head of hair. Next I'm automating green circuits with a 3:2 ratio of feeding copper cables and iron plates into assemblers. Ratios, much like for a Twitter keyboard warrior, absolutely essential to daily life. In this base I'll be aiming for 45 signs per minute, which lines up with a nice full number for the assemblers. Red and green signs only require the most basic of ingredients, only iron and copper, so you already know I automated that shit immediately. Green science is goated with the sauce, because it gives you access to some of the best research nodes. Cars, trains, oil processing, tier 2 assemblers, red belts, power poles that don't suck capital ass, tier 2 furnaces, stack inserters, and the best item in the entire game, concrete. Concrete, my beloved. It will take a while for me to place the first blocks and become a filthy concrete addict, but if I ever play this game again, the very first thing I'm doing is I'm paving this clean-ass, beautiful planet down with concrete until it looks like a Walmart parking lot. But I digress. Fast Michael has just built his first car of the run, and he's very happy about it. I'm gonna use the car to deliver an industrial quantity of euthanasia to the local biter nests. After vehicular homiciding the general vicinity, we can safely expand without any risk of biter attacks. Now, let's talk about oiling up, because I'm expanding into this oil patch, which is a little north of the base. Setting up basic oil processing is quite simple actually. You just need an oil field close to your base, and you can start pumpjacking it. I'm pumpjacking it so good. After a comically long oil pipe, route it into the refineries, and we've got petroleum gas flowing, which is essential for macroplastics manufacturing. Listen, I've already got my fill of microplastics for the day, but how else am I supposed to reach my daily macroplastics intake without sucking on the exhaust pipe of the chemical plants? Then I take those accumulated macroplastics and feed it into the assemblers along with green circuits and copper wire to create red circuits. Red circuits I'll use to speedrun efficiency moduling every machine in the factory. Don't mistake it, I'm not doing this to reduce pollution and save the environment. No, I'm doing this because they cut down on the electricity bill, and I've been hand-feeding coal to these boilers for the past 8 hours, and I think I might do some violent things.
We're gonna have to come over to your house and kill you.
Is this extremely easy to automate? Yes, it absolutely is. Am I gonna do it? Not for at least a couple more hours. Next is military science, which was when patient 0 of the spaghetti nightmare came into existence. Look at it. Doesn't this look absolutely atrocious? Well, too bad for you. If there's one thing I've learned from watching tens of hours of Factorio videos from Doshington, it's that
Believe it, guys.
Pyanodons is
Just a week away.
and that it doesn't matter how shitty your base is as long as it is your starter base. Military obviously lets you develop new ways to cause violence or upgrade your already existing tools of violence. I won't actually need them for a while because the starting area is just that fucking huge, and combined with the trees absorbing my pollution, I'm pretty much on cloud 9 just building my silly factory without the chance of being violently assassinated by angry environmentalists. Anyway, it's time to set up chemical science. It's made from red circuits, which I already have, engines, which I make on site, and sulfur, which I failed to realize at first is also needed, so I set it up next to the plastic and routed it in with some hideous fucking belt work, but now we have blue science. If green science gave you access to some of the best research nodes, then blue science gives you access to the best research in the game. ChatGPT and Grok, along with the logistics network, advanced oil processing, and, in turn, rocket fuel, electric furnaces, substations, rockets, laser weapons, tanks, Tier 2 modules, and uranium mining. And what this factory needs the most is a tank. Not because we're under threat or anything, but because I wanna leave this shitty, awful, hideous base. To start work on the real base trademark, I'll have to clear a large area, because thanks to the Railworld preset, the resources are really fucking far from each other. But to compensate, they have extremely high richness. So I'll mine them on site and transport the ore via trains. And to clear that area, we need munitions for the tank. I can't just fire my hopes and dreams at them, oh no, and expect them to die. That's why the purpose of this factory line here is to make cannon shells. Not explosive cannon shells. Contrary to what you might think, in my opinion, regular cannon shells are way better, because they have really high piercing and can kill multiple nests with one shot. That is why Evolution Factor behaves. Funny thing is, biters evolve passively by inhaling your cotton candy flavored vape fumes, even if your pollution cloud doesn't reach them. They also gain evolution percentage from you going on a genocide and killing them. And, fun fact, this number doesn't go down. Consulting this graph, you can get a better idea on what arms race I was talking about at the beginning. Small biters are little pushover bitches. Medium biters are more resilient and eat yellow ammo for breakfast. I heavily advise using stronger weapons like lasers, explosives, flammables, or cannon shells against big biters. That boy behemoth biter can spawn now, huh? I better keep my ass in this base, or I'm finished. Unless you have uranium ammo. It makes killing them a plausible reality. Thankfully, we're not at that stage of suffering yet. We're at a different stage of suffering. Welcome to advanced oil processing. This is where engineer undergraduates become real engineers with stage 5 male pattern baldness. And after fucking around with it for an hour and a half, heavy oil, light oil, and petroleum are now flowing. And I took so long setting it up that our cannon shells are maxed out and ready to be fired. That felt good. Now it's time for better power, aka solar panels. What past me didn't know is that solar panels are only good in high quantities, so I'll be experiencing many blackouts. Then I doubled our green circuits, built blue circuit production, and automated construction robots. No logistic robots yet, we'll use them in the other base. I used the blue circuits to get myself a fancier suit, known as Power Armor Mark I. Inside the equipment grid I put solar panels and a roboport, which means my slaves can now construct everything instead of me. Believe it or not, this is the correct way to play Factorio. I went for some seconds on the whole genocide thing, and now our territory is looking very secured. Then I thought long and hard about how the base will look, and after 8 hours I came up with this. A fully modular, beacon-compatible electric furnace array capable of outputting somewhere around 4 blue belts worth of iron and copper plates. The ore will get unloaded from the trains here, and when it finishes cooking, it gets put on the main bus. For the trains, I'll be stealing other people's hard work and using a chunk-aligned rail blueprint book made by Doc Jade and vampiric railways made by Vampiric. The blueprint book has everything: straight sections, gay sections, T-junctions, loops, everything you'd ever want. The link for all the blueprints used in the video are in the description. The first production facility I'm building is the mall, which, for those of you who aren't familiar with Factorio lingo, is essentially just a long line of assemblers where your, everything is made, besides sciences and intermediate products, so I won't have to handcraft belts like a disgusting animal. For trains to carry the ore from miners to the base, they obviously need fuel and intelligence, which unfortunately I'm all out of, as it will be evidenced by the uranium train later on. But these ones aren't that complicated. This condition tells the train to depart when its 4 cargo wagons are full and 1 second of inactivity has paused. The train has no way of automatically refueling, which is a problem that, like all good corporations, I swept under the rug and pretended it didn't exist. Then, the iron unload stop is the exact opposite, and this way the train will go back and forth, and back and forth. When I witnessed the trains do their first dance, I felt the dopamine overwhelming in my system, and I almost fell into an erection-induced coma. But anyway, next up is more solar. I went with a new 3 white chunk blueprint design for this base, since the other one is extremely weak sauce and could never hope to meet the demands of this base.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
Over at the mall, the assemblers have been busy filling this chest with red belts, and I'm finally able to cocoon like a moth and evolve into the next stage of my evolution as a Factorio engineer. Oh yeah, red belts are good. Then I set up the copper train and the green circuit production, unbeknownst to past Michael that he would have to tear it all down because he left no space for the roboports like the absolute moron he was. Then I made the steel train, and when I tried to make the coal stone train, I realized that stone on this planet is more rare than finding a YouTuber who hasn't DM'd miners yet. I settled on this patch. It's really far, but it's not like I have any better options. Initially, I had the stone and coal merged onto one train, but later on I end up realizing how much of an awful decision this was when I started to get bottlenecked by the purple guy. The only thing left for red circuits is plastic, which means oil, which means pumpjacking it to oily boogaloo. After setting up the refineries and using 100% of my brain to set up circuit automation that doesn't even work,
a person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts.
we got loop for the blue belts. But hold your horses, they aren't unlocked yet. Then I birthed this abomination of a blue circuit production line that consumes 2.1 blue belts of green circuits and can only supply 0.5, and I don't end up realizing this until the literal end of the game. Back at the old base, I made a very no-good, unreliable, unstable purple science production just to knock some blue belts and Covarex enrichment out. The final mining outpost is for uranium. I made a dedicated train for supplying the sulfuric acid required to mine it. Before I get to endangering the world with nuclear reactors and my stupidity, I needed concrete to build the centrifuges and the reactors. That's right, the nuclear revolution is upon us, because if I have to endure another blackout, I might have a psychosis. But only setting up regular concrete seems kind of wasteful, doesn't it? So I set up refined concrete and developed an intense addiction to paving. The uranium ore gets mined, gets processed by the centrifuges with a 99.3% chance to spit out shit uranium, which we want for ammo and cannon shells, and a 0.7% chance to make good uranium, which we want for everything else. Then, the finished product gets belt balanced 3-to-1 and goes down this line, and if it's uranium-235, it gets sent down this lane into the first centrifuge, where if enough accumulates, it outputs all the input material plus 1. When the buffer in the centrifuge is full, it gets sucked up by the next, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And after all of them are full, the uranium gets split at the bottom, so half of it goes to make fuel for the reactors, and the other half gets sent into the trains. And there you go, that's Coverx processing. This must have done severe damage to my psyche, because I started doing all sorts of extremely out-of-pocket shit, like putting uranium onto the main bus and creating this abomination train schedule. For the reactors, I'm using a kind of tileable design with 4 reactors that starves fuel to make sure no energy is lost. After that, I did something so out of pocket, even I have no idea what the fuck past Michael was cooking. He was cooking for 6 hours, creating a whole second base with the express purpose of it producing tier 3 modules, and then shipping it back to the real base, trademark, with trains. It creates more pollution than my actual base, so I harassed some biters at their own private domicile that were near the base, and then I went back and created nuclear fuel production. It gives a huge top speed and acceleration bonus, and therefore an element of high danger, which is cool. In total, I almost died something like 9 times this run, but every time it was just a close call, so suck it, achievement. Anyway, it's time for the sciences to be relevant to the plot again. Red and green Slurpee juice were easy enough to fit into the 7-wide beaconable layout that I'm using. It was at black Slurpee juice that I began exhibiting intelligence levels akin to our early hominid ancestors, and it snowballed into full-on apeshit insanity at yellow Slurpee juice. I mean, just look at this and tell me it doesn't cause you physical pain. To complement the sciences, I slammed down this lab setup and felt the power of utility science flowing into my veins with all the new research. Right now, these 2 reactors aren't nearly enough to power the base when it's making sciences, thanks to the beacon's insane power draw, so I expanded nuclear one last time. With the power of utility science, I was finally able to unlock Power Armor Mark II, which I filled with portable fission reactors and leg. Research also unlocked uranium cannon shells and nuclear bombs. While building said nuclear bombs, I realized something truly devious. Utilizing underground exits, you can block one lane of the belt and only let the other through. In this scenario, only letting explosives onto the split blue circuit belt. As my right index finger hit the left click button and placed the underground belt down, I felt the knowledge of thousands of past Factorio engineers rushing into my mind. My neurons fired at full force, trying to process the near-constant stream of information entering my brain. My military advancements didn't stop at nuclear bombs. I also acquired a Spidertron, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a horrifying mechanical amalgamation with 4 rocket launchers which made devastating the residents of this planet exceptionally easy. And also the nuclear bombs. Those 2, I guess. After pulling a totally not racially motivated genocide, I began working on the last science, the semen, which is obtained by launching a rocket to space while it has a satellite. After fumbling with the design for like an hour, I came up with this. Most of the items are brought in from off-screen, because I didn't feel like setting up solar panel production when it's literally right there in the mall. Just put a requester chest down and it's that simple. I fucked around for a bit with the Spidertron, and meanwhile all the rocket parts were assembled, and all that's left is smashing that fucking launch button. Much like how you should smash that subscribe button, and the like button, and the comment button, whatever. And there you have it. That's the end of my 86-hour Factorio run. Honestly, this might just be my new favorite game. I had a tremendous amount of fun, I hope you did too. There was a day where I played for like 15 hours straight. I might make another community post voting thing about the next game, or I might just do Vintage Story to avoid burnout. I don't know, man. I'll figure it out. But I definitely wouldn't be opposed to playing Factorio again. Either Space Age or Cracktorio or, well, not space exploration actually. That mod takes like 300 hours for people who know what they're doing, so imagine how much time it would take me. No, maybe if I knew it would get like guaranteed 1 million views, but right now it's just not worth of the time investment. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.